Hello, everyone. My name is Mr. Bryce, and I'm with Susquehanna Valley High School in Conklin, New York. Our zip code is 13748. If you have any questions, you can contact me there. Right now, what we're going to do is we're going to find the x-intercepts, the y-intercept, the turning point, and from that information, we are going to graph the parabola. So the first thing that I did, you'll notice, it said equals y. Well, I set it equal to 0 because to find the x-intercepts, it's where y is 0. It's on the x-axis. So I'm going to do what I call the X box. I find two numbers that multiply to be 35 and add up to negative 12 because the number in front is a 1. So we do 1 times 35 is 35. And they have to add up to negative 12, the B number. A times C, and they add up to B. Well, if you don't know what numbers multiply to be 35, go ahead and do 35 and 1, that's the given. Okay, it's kind of obvious there. But if you do 35 divided by 2, that is not a whole number. 35 divided by 3, that is not a whole number. And 4, and then when we do 35 divided by 5, we get 7. So we have 5 and 7. Those are two numbers that multiply to be 35. Now, since this number is 7, I don't have to go any farther than 7. So here we do 35 divided by 6 is not a whole number. I don't have to do 35 divided by 7 because we already know that equals 5. So I found all the numbers that multiply to be 35 except, remember, negative 1 and negative 35, negative 5, and negative 7. Their opposites also multiply to be positive 35. Which one of these add up to be negative 12, negative 5, and negative 7. Now, let's do the box. We really don't have to do this because the leading coefficient is 1, but let's just make sure that we know how to do everything before we take a test on it. We take the x squared, we take the a number, we take the c number, positive 35. Put it there. Negative 5x, negative 7x. It doesn't matter where they go because 5 goes into 35 and 7 goes into 35. They're both negative. Okay. So if 35 was negative, I definitely want to put the negative on the horizontal. Here, x, greatest common factor between x squared and negative 7x. Greatest common factor between negative 5 and 35. I'm going to put negative 5. The reason being I'm putting negative there is that we want whatever leading sign that is, we want that to be this sign right here. So now I ask myself, x times what is x squared? That's x. Now I say x times what is negative 7x? Negative 7. Now let's check. Is x times negative 5 negative 5x? Good. Is negative 7 times negative 5 positive 35? Great. Now I write down the factors. X minus 5, x minus 7 equals 0. Using the 0 property, x minus 5, get rid of those parentheses, equals 0, and x minus 7 equals 0. Add 5 to both sides, I get x is 5. Add 7 to both sides, I get x is 7. Those are the x-intercepts. Now let's find the axis of symmetry. By finding the axis of symmetry, I can find the turning point. The axis of symmetry is very easy. All I do is take the x-intercepts, 5 and 7, add them together, divide by 2, because that's the average. We're taking the average of the two x-intercepts, and that is 12 divided by 2. X equals 6 is the axis of symmetry. Okay, so I found the x-intercepts. The y-intercept, that's as easy as chewing gum and walking at the same time. It's just 35 because this is in standard form. Positive 35, it's the C number. Okay, now that we have the y-intercept is 35, we have the axis of symmetry. Let's find the turning point. The turning point, I know one number is 6. Let me grab this equation. I've got it. Now, all I do is I take 6, plug it in here. 6 squared minus 12 times 6 plus 35 equals what number? I grab my calculator, do the arithmetic, and I get y equals -1. So I just plug that into there. That's the turning point. I found the x-intercepts, I found the y-intercept, I found the turning point. Now let's graph it. Okay, if we notice that -1 is the lowest that it goes, right here. Okay, and however, 35 is the highest that it goes because that's the y-intercept. The y-intercept is 35. So what I'm going to do is I am going to draw my x-axis fairly low. Okay, so 35 is my y-intercept, which is going to be right there because I counted up 35 on the y-axis. Then my x-intercepts are 5 and 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's supposed to be a little bit to the left. 6, 7. And the turning point is right there. So I want to go nice and smooth. Make sure that you have a smooth parabola on the bottom. Go up to the 35. Symmetrical on the other side. And you can, don't forget to draw the axis of symmetry as a dotted line. And there you go. Let's do this one in a couple of seconds. When you solve this using the quadratic formula, if you notice it equals 3, so we have to subtract 3 from both sides. 2x squared plus 7x minus 11 equals 0. Okay. Now, a is 2, b is 7, c is -11. X equals -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay. Now, you plug in b. It's negative parentheses 7 plus or minus the square root of b squared in parentheses is 7 outside parentheses is squared minus 4 times a times c. Make sure everything's underneath the square root all over 2 times a. Now, don't be silly. You don't want to type in everything into the calculator. You're going to get the wrong answer. So x equals, the opposite of 7 is 7, plus or minus the square root. You can type all of this into the calculator, not the square root symbol. Just that. And when you do that and hit equals, 137 all over 4. That's where I want you to stop for now. Okay? If you run out of time on the test, don't worry. We're going to continue it tomorrow. Okay? So you have a 20 extra minutes to finish the test in tomorrow's class.